And good morning, everybody, and welcome to Marshall County Today, the talk show aimed at informing you about stories, people, and businesses around your neighborhood. I'm your host, Tony Ross. Great to be with you, the Max Morning Show. Pleasure to welcome in that handsome man you see on our YouTube live channel, the mayor, Robert Listenberger, as he's our guest today. How you doing, boss?
Good morning, Tony. I'm okay. I'm doing great.
Well, good. I'm glad you're
Another beautiful day outside.
It is. It's going to be
had lots of nice
really
weather
beautiful.
lately.
We sure did.
Yeah.
Couple neat things before we get into the meetings and stuff. Mayor's Month of Music finished up a hit.
We wrapped it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you really had some good crowds this year.
Yeah. We saw 1,500 to 2,000 almost consistently all the way through the whole 10. We had 10 this year. Next year, I think it'll probably be 9. What we like to do is go all the way through July, every Friday night, all the way through August, every Friday night, and the first Friday into September. So it should work out to be about 9. I haven't looked on the calendar, but this year it was 10.
Yeah,
so
it was great.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fun to be part of, and the camaraderie that I'm sure you get a chance to enjoy because normally the only time you meet the John Q. public is when you got to be sending out a press release about something, and this is time for you to kind of just let your hair down and go.
Yeah, it was fun. I had to be absent at the last 3, though, because, as you know, I do the chains for the varsity football home games.
Yep.
And so I would start the night out down at the River Park Square, then race over to kickoff. And so I had to miss most of the last 3. But we have an awful lot of home games this year, which is unusual. We have 6 home football games, which is crazy.
Yes.
So next year won't be as bad, probably.
Yeah. Well, it's something that it's good to know that you're able to still go do something outside your job.
Yeah.
That you enjoy. A lot of folks don't do that. You figure out a way to get some Robert time in.
It's kind of a release to go there and pay attention to the football team for the evening, and we're seeing some improvement.
Yes.
And so that's fun to watch. And the boys are playing hard. They're hitting hard. They're tackling, and their efforts there. They're trying hard. We just come up a little short a couple times now, but I'm pretty pleased with overall.
Right.
Comparing to our years.
Yeah, previous years.
Yeah. So.
All right, you had a meeting last night, I believe.
So every 2 week or second, fourth Mondays of every month, of course, we have our Board of Public Work and Safety meeting, and then followed by a City Council meeting, and that's why I come in here on the Tuesdays of the first meeting to meet with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we appreciate that.
We had a pretty lengthy meeting last night. Had a lot of information presented to us, a lot of little things to handle and do. But we started with our Board of Public Works and Safety. I usually open up and offer to every department head if they have anything. And so Donnie Davidson with the city's water and sewer department got up and updated us on the water tower restoration. Sorry, I'm still not awake. Water tower restoration project, which is out on Oak Road by Coca-Cola plant. They're completely redoing it, sandblasted it all, and it's quite the project. But they're a couple week into it. They started over Blueberry Weekend, believe it or not, and so they're well underway there. We're having some new water mains installed and replaced, and that project is going forward and underway right now.
Is there a timetable on that?
Okay, you would ask me that. There is, of course there is. I think both these projects will finish up this year. I mean, so these are not long term. And so, and then he's doing the retention pond across the street from the neighborhood center.
Oh,
are you familiar with that project, Tony?
No.
So that was the old Eagles property. The city acquired, I believe, last year, with the idea if that little section of town floods, our stormwater sewer system is not adequate to take all
Handle it.
when we get these really hard downpours. So we acquired the building, tore it down. We'll put it's a retention pond. It's not going to be it's going to be almost like a pocket park now. It's going to be beautiful when it's done. There's going to be sidewalks all the way around it, an area for a bench. Won't need a fence because it's a slight grade, and I don't think we will see much water in there, hardly at all. I mean, you will, just on those big days, and so it holds it and trickles it into our sewer system, and then eventually gets to the river. So our stormwater sewer,
Sure.
not the regular. So that's underway. Jim Marquette, our street superintendent, he got up and updated us on Gibson Street and LaPorte Street around the junior high school. It's almost complete. So they put the sod in on the Gibson Street. And so that was, now they'll do a walkthrough and close that out. That was a community crossings grant. And we've got to get that closed out so that we're eligible for future community crossing grants. So we're going to get that done here fairly quick. He updated us on the all electric trucks. We have 3 of them on order now.
So we're electric trucks, huh?
Yeah,
we're going to have the stations and stuff too, right?
Well, so this was a grant that MACOG helped us get, and so these are 100%. We're getting like 100%. We'll have a little bit of cost of hooking up the charging stations, but other than that, these are free vehicles to us.
Really?
And so, yeah, and for that, what we're going to do is we've agreed to what they're trying to do is collect data on
Gotcha.
What the maintenance will be, how long do the tires last, and these different applications. So I believe quarterly we fill out reports and we supply it through the life of the vehicle. We'll just and there's communities all across the country doing this. So, so we're going to get some real data on the wear and tear, stuff like that. So, and we
have you ever driven an electric truck yet?
We have one at the park department right now, and you would like it.
I love. Listen,
have you? So you have?
Yeah. Oliver Ford let us drive the electric trucks before, and I'm telling you, I got to admit, I know people have their reservations about it.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It was cool to drive, and that thing's got some giddy up.
Yeah,
I mean, real quick.
Way more than a gasoline-engined vehicle. That's what surprised me the most.
Yeah,
that, and when you turn it on, you probably experience the same thing. Like, hey, it's not starting.
Yeah, I was going to say,
it's not starting.
You don't hear it. It's like it is. Yeah,
and then so you hit it again, then you just shut it off.
Right.
And so it's
amazing.
Yeah,
it's the technology with that.
And so I actually I took it to. We had a meeting at the Indianapolis 500 Speedway, and we were able to drive a vehicle around the track. So I actually took it to that meeting and drove it once around the track. And now that it's an interesting, and go into it some other time. But you got to plan your trip when you're going to go. Right. I was going to put about 250 miles on the vehicle, and they have maybe 100. I think they have about a 200 mile distance that they can go. So, but I knew I'd have to fill or recharge before I came back to Plymouth. So you have to kind of plan your trip a lot better. And so,
was it easy to find locations to charge?
I got lucky. I was staying at a place, a friend of mine's. I stayed overnight and came back the next day. The neighbor had one in his house, so I was able. He loaned it to me overnight. I got lucky.
Yeah.
But if there are apps that show you where to go or stuff like that.
So you can find them easily.
So, yeah. But there's slow trickling ones, and then there's faster ones. So you got to find those too. But Jimmy updated us on that. Those will be ordered. They should be in around December this year, and we needed them. We needed the ones that so that save the city some money for next year's budget. We wanted to purchase these 3.
So you eventually will have to purchase the 3?
No,
they're all free.
They're 100% free forever.
Wow.
And
How about that?
But we were in need of 3 vehicles. Donnie Davis needed one. The street department needed one, and our city building inspector.
So
his truck's about done. So this will replace those without any cost to us.
Wow.
So
How about that?
so that'd be good.
Now the charging stations. So are we getting three?
Yeah,
because
well,
of three vehicles, or how's that?
You know,
work?
like in house, like if you were to buy one for your your personal use, you would get a charging station at your house put in. It's kind of it's a small cost really, but so we get those. But on top of that, we've already got one charging station to the public, which is down at River Park Square. You've probably seen there.
Yeah.
We're getting in this grant. We're getting a second one of those. So that one will be. I don't know if it may be out in the park, and so that's for the public to use, and so. People look at like I did when I traveled to Indy. I found those spots along the way if I needed a charging station, and so they'll be able to find us. They'll come and then we a lot of times you want to locate them near a coffee shop and places like that. Or that's the way we got the one downtown here. People park it, they charge while they go through our shops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we are.
How long
getting
does it take to charge those things?
I'm not 100%. I know that. I'll tell you this. On the slow trickling ones, because I stopped at a Kohl's department store, had one in their parking lot, and parked it, went to lunch, did a little shopping. I was gone for maybe about 2 hours, and it gave me about 30 miles more. So it's slow.
Yeah.
But the one overnight was 100% the next day, and then there are fast charging ones. I don't know how quickly those go.
Right. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
It'll be, and we're gonna get some real data on it. And we'll figure out,
Well, it's free. So.
And it's free, right? Let's see. On top of that, Jim Marquette talked about all the street projects around town, which is our normal street paving program every year, and that's in full swing and should be completed by the end of the month. If you notice, on Garrow Street. There's several others around town that and then there's sidewalk improvements along those streets where we've been paving, ADA accessible crossings, stuff like that, and so that's in full swing and should be completed here shortly. So let's see, what else did we have? We had to do an executive order. George Schricker's working on his building at the Wild Rose Moon again. And so we allowed for him to put a lift right outside the Wild Rose Moon. If you haven't noticed, George is doing some work ongoing work on that building, his building. So that we talked about that. By the way, George has a wonderful show this weekend coming up Saturday evening. I'll plug. And now the name escapes me, but she's a wonderful performer. I don't know if there's tickets available still or not, but
George has got his website.
Yeah,
Wild Rose Moon. You can check that out.
Yeah, and so
get tickets.
I plan on going because I Googled this young lady and she's fantastic. So
good,
bringing great entertainment, and I think that's the show that he will eventually be on TV. That's his PBS. You familiar with that by chance?
I knew he was thinking about doing that.
Yeah, no,
so he's been doing it.
He tapes them, and then he did one a couple months ago. I was actually a guest on that one, and it aired on PBS a couple weeks ago on a Saturday evening.
Was it 34 or something like that?
Channel
NIT.
34, right? Yeah. I think. Do you have breaks coming up? Should I keep going?
But just keep on going.
Okay.
I know you're busy, and I don't want to.
I'm just trying to get through everything we did last night. Coons Lake Brewing Company, which is located, the old Heasters, Okay, so they are going to have a what do they call it? Unveiling or
grand opening?
They're having introducing a new beer for that.
Okay.
Whatever that's called, and they asked to have the road closed because they own the property right across the street, which is a big vacant piece of ground. So they're going to be holding this big event. They're going to fence it all in, and I think that's coming up on September 21st.
Okay. So
the Board of Works approved the street closure for their event during that day. It's going to be closed from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. So, and so that was for the Board of Works meeting. That's about it. Just normal, accepting the communications and claims and all stuff like that. So that was that. Then we jumped into the city council meeting. And last night was a big session on budgets, our 2025 budget plan. And so,
does that coincide every year with the county budget? Because I know they're going through that this week too. Or does that just happen to fall together?
Every municipality, you have to download it into the Indiana Gateway system. And there's time, the state tells us
when
the guidelines and deadlines. There are deadlines, and we're well on our way. Lynn Gorski, our clerk treasurer, has done a wonderful job organizing this and putting this all together. And she presented each department head's budget. There were a few questions on things, but funding is there for everybody's request. Everything that we've put into the budget, the funding is there, which is always good news. Sometimes you have to say, well, we got to cut somewhere.
Cut here, cut there. Yeah, trim the fat here.
What we've got planned is doable. And so,
anything big? Or
expect? I know there is. There's got to be a few things in there. I didn't bring each individual's budget, and it's too early for me to remember everything. But there are a few things, I'm sure. So we got through the public hearing portion of the budget. Then we jumped into the elected officials' pay ordinance for next year. So myself, the clerk treasurer, the council members, so each year, some years the elected officials take zero, some they take a small, or they match what the city employees are doing, and that's what they're doing this year. They're going to do 3.5% increase over last year's pay ordinance for the elected officials, and so that was up for second and third readings, and that passed. Then we jumped into the ordinance for fixed salaries of appointed officers and employees, fire and police, and all the personnel of the city of Plymouth. And that took us a little bit of a couple rounds of amendments and stuff, and we talked about this or that, and the overall pay increase would be about a 3.5% versus last year. There were some one-offs where the council felt we needed to do a little more for this person or that person, and so there's just a couple of those. But pretty much, if you ask me what's the pay rate, what's the pay increase for 2025 versus 24, it's 3.5. So. Overall. So after that, we jumped on. So Vicki Brown with Dustin's Place wanted to present to us her latest things going on with Dustin's Place, which I know you're probably familiar with that program.
Absolutely.
And the children grieving programs that she offers.
It's an amazing program.
And she's just wanted to let us know some statistics that's going on in this county, which was amazing or shocking to me. That I wrote down a few things here, but so there are 6,400 grieving children in our county. That's a lot. And
they're coming out from the loss of a dad or a parent or grandma or grandpa. It could be numerous things, but it's mostly losing a real close loved one, like a dad or a mom. That that's a lot.
The number one death for these grieving children is the death of a dad.
Sure.
And she mentioned that, and so 1 in 5 deaths are due to fatal overdoses. That's our leading death in Marshall County right now, overdose. And so that means for every one death, there's 15 non-fatal occurrences, and the kids witness that as well. So that's
a horrible statistic.
So and she was just updating us on those facts and how we can fill that gap to reach. I think she said that she has like 248 that they're working with right now in the county, but that's a big difference between the 6,400 Anyway, she offers these services. She's
Right.
expanding. She's got good. She had good news that at the Liveplex, the second floor, like half of the upper second floor, Doc Hallam and Mary Hallam have graciously given them that space.
That's
And
great.
so she'll be looking to do a little fundraising for renovation of that space, making it for their meeting rooms and
Sure.
clinic area, stuff like that. And so she was there to tell us all about that, and that was nice to see. She's working hard at that, and so that was good. So another big thing was I asked Bill Shealy, our airport manager, to wait and present this to the entire council. The Plymouth airport was awarded I want to say $3.2 million FAA grant,
Nice.
which builds that taxiway that we've been working towards for a long time. So
Now, have we secured all the property surrounding that in order to
that's on the
expand it?
property we own. It's not expanding outside the.
Okay.
Yeah, there was talk about 10, 12 years ago
Right.
about going across the road and
Right.
expanding on that, and that
Correct.
That I don't say we won't ever do that, but right now the goal and the push is to make better what we have. Once Bill and people determine that there's a real need for that extension, then we'll get serious about that. But right now they just want to improve this taxiway allows. Right now you have to wait. You got to circle to land till that plane in front of you
right.
gets off the
Right.
runway. So now they'll have a taxiway. They can get off right away, and it's much safer. It's
More controlled.
And
Yeah.
this grant was a lot of hard work on a lot of people's parts, and we've been meeting about it for a long time. And we finally we got that award. We got notice on Friday last week, so that was cool.
Well,
So-
and they've done such a great job at the airport.
Yeah,
Every single one of them. And kudos. This town needs to have an airport if we're looking to expand. And I just think it's a big part of what it's been for many years, a big part of Plymouth. And
Yep.
I just, to be honest with you, I hope we can have even more discussions about possibly expanding.
Yeah,
Because I
right.
get a feeling we're going to need to in the next 10 years or so.
yeah, that could be. I mean,
I'm
relying on.
Granted, I'm like the most optimistic person for
Yeah.
this town. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes you see what's going on and how the city is finding new ways to reinvent itself to catch up with the times. We have the building of the Reese, and I just like.
We got a lot of really good things going on.
We got some good momentum going.
Yep.
And so I'm glad to hear. And that airport's a big part of it.
Yeah, and that project should they should get going here really fairly
Is it?
quick,
Good.
and so
That's
yeah.
good to hear.
Yeah, so
Congratulations too, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, we're real happy about that. That really wrapped it up. I know that we went through that really fast, but it took us over 2 hours to get through all those things last night. So
Sure.
it's like
It's never an easy process.
That was the highlights, and yeah. Other than that, we just finished up, of course, our Blueberry Festival and Latino Festival last weekend, and that was a success. Largest numbers they've seen, I think, and so that
Right.
Latino Fest continues to just get better
It grew.
and better.
It grew
and,
this year.
Yeah,
I think it kind of caught some people off guard, honestly.
What's that?
It kind of caught some people off guard how much it grew.
I
know,
I saw it last year, and I could
It was. I
sense,
was last year too.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw,
Yeah.
but I thought there was far more vendors this
I
year.
could sense that it's just gonna
Yeah.
explode, and it did. And I think next year will be even bigger.
I don't know how they're going to do it, but I
So-
can see it growing even more.
Yeah, and so
And I'm going to tell you something. I said this before. I think it might have been last week. I said, you hear all this stuff about illegal immigration, but festivals like the Latino Festival show you the real people that are in this town,
yeah,
that come to this town, that are in this county, wherever they're at here. the Latino Festival wasn't a sense, an inkling of a threat or anything like it. Like people want to try to display it. And I just scratched my head and I said, come to this thing and meet the people.
Yeah.
Just come to this, see for yourself. I mean, it's such a heritage of family and
their culture is. They're
not here to take over the world. They're just here to say, "Hey, this is who we are."
Did you see those beautiful dresses and those dancers that? They're just really beautiful. And young kids
if you
dancing
do your
and
homework,
stuff.
you'll understand it's a beautiful culture.
Yeah,
to begin with.
Yeah,
you will understand that. I don't know. Like I said, I think that Latino Festival is continued to grow, and I thought it was bigger this year, personally.
Yeah, I think it was.
I went in the afternoon, as opposed to the night when I was invited back because more people were obviously.
I think that's when the party
there.
starts. I think I haven't been there in the evening, so.
But I had one mission in mind, and that was to get food.
Yeah. Oh boy.
So I took care of that itching real quick, and so I got my tamales.
That was another thing. I think they've added more food vendors there.
They did,
and boy, it smells really good.
It was great. Like I said, I think the festival is outstanding.
Yeah.
I hope we can continue to do so.
Yeah.
And as long as we have River Park, that's what it's there for.
They had to. River Park Square is busy every weekend this month in September. We have Relay for Life next weekend, I believe. Mm-hmm. And then Joey Garcia is doing an event the following weekend, I think. So that park is busy.
It is.
Of course,
it should be. That's what the purpose of that is. So, So I think it's great. Yep. I like it. I like the vibes that are happening right now.
Yeah.
We just got to continue to maintain it, and I love the fact that we're dispelling the notion that there's nothing to do in Plymouth, Indiana.
There's plenty.
There's plenty to do.
Yeah.
And if just do a little research. It's not hard. You'll find out what's happening, especially when you go on the mayor's your website. So they do a good job there. Well, buddy, I got to let you go.
Right,
your time's done here. Your commitment with us is done. Appreciate it as always.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Thank you so much for having me.
Let me know if you need anything.
Okay, Tony. Good seeing you. Thank you.
We'll be back after this.